What if I told you that flying planes around the world, experiencing different cultures, foods and landscapes, all while earning a lot of money, might just be the wrong career path for you? Sometimes the grass seems greener on the other side, and often the glamorous side of aviation overshadows some of the sacrifices and compromises that aviators have to make. Let's get into 6 reasons why I wouldn't recommend becoming an airline pilot in 2023. Quick disclaimer, these are my opinions and thoughts, and may carry more or less weight to your personal situation. Reason number 1, zero passion. I feel like this is a stupid point, but there is nothing more uncommon in this world than common sense. If you're going to get into this industry only for the status it brings or high earnings potential, I simply cannot guarantee that you'll live a happy life. There needs to be something else that fires you up more than money or clout, some sort of interest in the field that'll drive you through the tough studying journey, the early wake-ups, and the late night flights. Don't get me wrong, you don't have to be the type that has 12,000 hours on Flight Simulator and know every plane of every manufacturer. You just need a small amount of fascination, just a small spark of interest. I've been interested in cars, bikes, trains, and planes probably since like 13 years old, but I definitely preferred fighter jets and didn't have any interest in commercial jets until much later. When I started flight school, I honestly couldn't differentiate between an Airbus A320 and a Boeing 777, but I slowly and surely started getting more and more into it, and now I find the world of airliners fascinating. By the way, the A350, just gorgeous. I know. 747, blah, blah, blah. It's beautiful. But the curves on that A350, I just can't. Please leave a comment below for what your favorite airline is and why. I'd be interested to know. Reason number 2, high costs. Training, flight hours, and obtaining the necessary certifications and licenses can accumulate significant debt. This can take years to pay off. The sad truth is that most people in this world would find it almost impossible to come up with the required funding needed for training. The really fortunate are those able to find a sponsor, such as a family member. The less fortunate are those that have to go through a bank with the intention of paying back a loan, or by working another job for long enough to cover the costs. It goes without saying that this is definitely a job of privilege, and for some people it's more or less impossible to go from the slums of India or the favelas of Brazil to cruising at flight level 390 as an airline pilot. The cost barrier is simply too high, and I hope in the future this job will be more accessible as electric planes start getting introduced and costs decreased. We're talking about roughly 100,000 euros to get qualifications without a guarantee of a job. That's heavy. Reason number 3, it is a high pressure job. Being at the helm of a machine hurtling at Mach 0.8 at 41,000 feet over the Atlantic is obviously not most people's idea of a chilled day at work. You get trained for emergency situations such as engine failures, hydraulic system faults, medical problems on board, hijacking attempts. You get tested every 6 months in a simulator to push you to your limits and see if you're still up to scratch for the job. This is not a low-pressure work environment. You are in a position of incredible responsibility, which means even when you're at the twilight of a 12-hour shift and you're coming home to land at an airport that's windy and turbulent, you have to show up ready for the task at hand. Reason number 4, finding a job. When you're fresh out of flight school, finding a job is extremely anxiety-inducing. You've spent all this money, time, and energy getting qualified, but you're still a couple of steps away from actually starting to earn a salary to recoup that debt. You're qualified, so it should be easy, right? In some cases, yes, but you have to remember that there are thousands of other freshly trained pilots all vying for the same job. Some are able to find work immediately after flight school, while others can take years trying to get their shot. The reason it can be so difficult has everything to do with the next point, which is number 5, market volatility. Aviation is an extremely volatile market. War, terrorist attacks, a financial crisis, or global epidemic can impact your career. You are at the whim of outside factors in a way that other industries don't generally encounter, or at least not to the same degree. Almost in an instant, your world could be flipped around, and there's honestly not much you can do except for diversifying your skills and having a backup plan. Airlines going bankrupt is relatively commonplace, and for this reason, your job is not really ever 100% secure, no matter how established the airline is. Reason number 6, lifestyle and time away. I can't speak for every single pilot position available, because there are definitely great deals where you have no night flights, no jet lag, and no irregular schedules. Unfortunately, I would say that this is not the standard in the industry. Even in flight school, I was needing to wake up at 4 a.m. for flights or go to bed after flying through the night. You may need to move far away from home to another city, country, or even continent. It's difficult to be picky in this industry, so your first job may have less than ideal conditions when it comes to your roster. Missed birthdays, family events, and holidays are quite common. You might be on a nice layover in New York in some fancy hotel, but your family's in Europe enjoying Christmas together. It kind of changes the whole glamour of the overnight destination, doesn't it? It is a 24-hour industry that might not be worth adapting to for some people. Personally, this is the really make or break topic for me, because being a pilot is not only demanding on you, but the people around you, and it requires a level of understanding from your partner and maturity from your children to cope with being away so often. So, here's a shout out to all the wonderful ladies and gentlemen that continue to push forward with the Aviator partners. We simply couldn't do it without you. Listen, I've been an airline pilot for the last 5 years, and I'd be lying if I told you I was considering a career change, because to be honest, I'm still head over heels in love with this job. But yes, there are some drawbacks that are complete deal breakers for some people. This video isn't meant to discourage you from pursuing your dreams of becoming an airline pilot, but rather to be transparent about some of the less pleasant aspects of it, so you can make a fully informed decision before jumping in with both feet. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.